India now faces global test.
ये मेक इन इंडिया, मेक फॉर द वर्ल्ड, हमारे उस लक्ष्य की तरफ एक बड़ी छलांग है.
PMO rushes to review export strategy. Exporters on the edge as tariff deadline nears. Trump's tariff war. Top focus on Newstrack.
Good evening. This is the Newstrack and I'm Marya Shakil. India faces a critical moment as steep US tariffs, which are around 50%, are set to take effect in just a few hours on billions of dollars of Indian exports. Despite this looming challenge, Prime Minister Narendra Modi projects confidence, highlighting a significant milestone in Gujarat with the launch of domestic production of EV battery electrodes. Emphasizing India's democratic strengths, demographic advantages and skilled workforce, the Prime Minister reassured exporters of government support amidst rising global protectionism. However, concerns remain high among exporters, particularly in the sectors like the gems, the textiles, auto parts, metals, where the tariffs threaten jobs and economic growth. However, India, it seems, is ready is the message that is coming in from the government. We delve today into how India plans to navigate and potentially overcome this tariff challenge, starting with the Prime Minister's vision.
This is just, we got to bring our country back.
Hours before Donald Trump's tariff bomb drops, India is bracing for a trade shock.
मेरी सरकार लघु उद्यमियों का, किसानों का, पशुपालकों का कभी भी अहित नहीं होने देंगे.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Gujarat launched local EV battery production, calling it a new chapter in Make in India, with cars soon to roll out to 100 countries. He highlighted India's strengths in democracy, demography and skilled manpower. But back in Delhi, his team is working overtime on relief for exporters.
भारत के पास डेमोक्रेसी की शक्ति है और भारत के पास डेमोग्राफी का एडवांटेज है. हमारे पास स्किल्ड वर्कफोर्स का बहुत बड़ा पूल है. इसलिए कि हमारे हर पार्टनर के लिए विन-विन सिचुएशन बनाता है.
Modi has called the tariffs unfair and protectionist. He vows India will safeguard its interests firmly but responsibly.
मैं आपको बार बार वादा करता हूं, मोदी के लिए आपके हित सर्वोपरि है. मेरी सरकार लघु उद्यमियों का, किसानों का, पशुपालकों का कभी भी अहित नहीं होने देंगी. दबाव कितना ही क्यों ना आए, हम झेलने की अपनी ताकत बढ़ाते जाएंगे.
From Tuesday morning, the US will slap an extra 25% duty on Indian imports. For many goods, tariffs will soar past 50%. The trigger, Russian oil deals.
India's been a good friend, but India has charged basically more tariffs than almost any other country. You know that, right? Over the years. But now I'm in charge, and you just can't do that.
Markets are rattled and the Sensex down over 850 points. With hours to go before the tariff wall rises, exporters are staring at tough days ahead. Can relief measures and new markets soften the blow? Bureau Report, India Today.
Before I bring in the experts on the show, let me bring in the politicians. Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, is also an expert on this subject. Dr. Shama Mohammed, national spokesperson of the Congress. Shama Mohammed, how is the Congress looking at Prime Minister Modi's response and the emphasis on Make in India and Make for the World in this context? Because tariffs kick in and Prime Minister certainly is sending that message that India is prepared.
See, Marya, today the question is why the highest tariffs on India? Complete failure of foreign policy. Mr. Modi kept quiet when Trump was saying more than 29 times that the ceasefire was done by him between India and Pakistan, thinking that the tariffs will go down. Now look at the implications. Indonesia was at 32, gone down to 19 by bilateral agreements. Vietnam got to 20. Areas surrounding India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Cambodia, all of them below us. So what happens? Even China has got tariffs less than us. So what happens is America is going to get things imported from there. Now let's look at what has affected us most. The phones and the pharmaceuticals are kept out. It's jewelry, shrimps, which is one of the highest, and garments. Now garments is 2%. 28% of our garments go there. A company called Creative in Mumbai has said that they have to sack 6,000 to 7,000 of their employees, that is close down 2 factories, but because it's going to be impossible. Let's look at the shrimps. 48.8 billion was last year's exports to the United States. That is 68% of our export. Now, Ecuador has got less of tariffs. So now America is going to import from Ecuador. So last year, our exports, we have a trade surplus with America. Last year, it was around 87 billion. We are going to go down to 49.6 billion. So there is complete failure in the foreign policy of Narendra Modi. One last point. Trump, considered as a very close friend of Mr. Narendra Modi, why did he do it? Where has the foreign policy gone? And another one, the 25% extra on buying oil from Russia. Why not on China, which also does, as well as Turkey?
All right, all valid questions being raised here. Sanju Verma,
Narendra Modi needs to answer.
Could India have handled this entire crisis better?
Marya, let me make one thing very clear for the benefit of your audience. Thank God we have Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the helm of affairs. They asked us not to buy S-400 in 2018. Prime Minister Modi ne kisi ki nahi suni. They said that the Rafale deal is corrupt. Dismiss it, debunk it. Prime Minister Modi said nothing doing. They said, stop buying oil from Russia. And S. Jaishankar said India buys in a month what European Union buys in a single afternoon. We didn't listen to them. Then Trump said, open your agricultural markets to the United States of America. And Prime Minister Modi again said, nothing doing. Atmanirbhar Bharat is not a slogan or a jumla or a platitude. For us, it's an abiding work ethic. And I think let's not, miss the woods for the trees. Very quickly for your audience, this is what they need to listen to. The average agri-tariff in South Korea is 57%, 31% in Norway, 28.5% in Switzerland, 28.3% in Thailand, 23.5% in Iceland, and in European Union, the average tariff is 38.9%. Japan's average tariff is as high as 61.3% on dairy products, and it goes up to 258% on cereals. Now, comparatively speaking, look at India. India, we have a cap. No tariff will be more than 110%. Vis-a-vis EU, Japan, or South Korea, where the highest tariff is as high as 389%. So my limited point is this, Marya. I will just end by saying one thing. This is very important. Let's not digress. Today, let's not forget the biggest and the most, strongest example of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which Prime Minister Modi has been talking of, is in the defense sector. BrahMos, we exported it to Philippines during Operation Sindoor. We used Akash, surface-to-air missiles, indigenously built. We used the Kamikaze Sky Striker drones, indigenously built. We used Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launcher, indigenously built. And don't forget that today our defense production is up 300% at more than 1.5 lakh
Yes,
crore
Sanju
plus.
Verma,
Today, our
the
defense
question really
exports are
is
up 35 times.
that what is evident here is that the United States is punishing India. And in no uncertain terms, this has been spoken by top diplomats there. The Vice President of US has also said the same. The question is that could the teams on both the sides, could the strategists, could the diplomats have handled it differently? How do you mitigate or reverse these tariffs? A 50% tariff is very huge.
You know, Marya, let me say one thing, which nobody seems to be discussing, and not even journalists, with no offense to you. In 2022, we inked two very important deals. A free trade agreement with the ASEAN, which is a group of 11 countries, and then there was the free trade agreement with Australia, and more importantly, today our biggest trading partner is the GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council of 6 major Islamic nations. Today our annual exports are $821 billion. Our bilateral trade with the United States of America on an average has been $135 billion or thereabouts. So my limited point is, today you have the world's 4th largest economy in India. You have the world's 8th largest tourism economy in India. Today, India is the only economy which has the 7th largest gold reserves, the 6th largest stock market, the 4th largest foreign exchange reserves. We are the world's 2nd largest steel producing country, the world's 3rd largest solar energy producer, the world's 2nd largest smartphone market, the world's 3rd largest automobile market. Our stock market capitalization is in excess of 457 lakh crore. So we have nothing to lose. Let me say
what is
one
this,
thing.
Marya?
Today,
If one
our
person
middle
is going to
class
speak,
is more than
1
457
moment.
million.
Let her
people.
finish her point. I'm coming to you.
Middle class.
Shama, please, I mean, 1 moment.
I will leave. I don't want to
Marya,
be
can I
here.
please
Shama,
finish?
Shama, this constant thing, 1 moment.
Happening?
Both of
Is
you,
this a speech? Is it
1
a
moment.
motion? Or
I
is it a
asked her a
debate?
question. I asked her the second question.
I can't
Sanju.
listen to this shit. I'm
Sanju.
sorry.
Not interject.
It goes on
Sanju,
for such a
patience.
long time.
I asked her the second question. She is responding to it because it is the government which has much to explain. 1 moment, Shama.
I cannot wait for
I
you.
should not be getting this repeated lessons from you. No, 1 moment, ma'am. I cannot be getting this repeated lessons from you on how to conduct debates. I asked her a second question. She is responding. No.
I need to respond also.
No, I asked her the second question. She is responding. Now I'll come to you when her response is over.
Marya, can I finish?
1 moment.
Finish,
No,
Marya?
yes, Sanju, please go ahead. 30 seconds.
Thank you. Marya, my limited point is this very quickly. Under Prime Minister Modi, this is what India has achieved, so we have nothing to fear. The
Okay.
world's 2nd largest smartphone market, the world's 3rd largest automobile energy producer,
Okay.
with
But,
the world's
you know,
4th largest solar energy producer.
of which party is there in the states, all states will have to pull in and be a participant in this Atmanirbharta, Shama Mohammed. That also means all the opposition ruled states. Because when it is about tariff threat, it affects each and every state of India.
No, I need to give me my time. Now, she went on with data after data, which is all nonsensical, 1. Number 2, the most
What is
important...
nonsensical?
You
She has
counter
not-
a data with a data. No, why dismiss
has
her
not-
data as
No,
nonsensical? What
It
is
is
your
nonsensical.
counter data?
No, I'm telling you, first and foremost, she has not answered your question. Why has Trump put on India 50% tariff? She has not answered. She went to Rafael. She went to numerous other things. We are 7th largest, 8th largest. That's not what's the answer. Now, today, if our
Why are you
tariff
ranking?
goes around...
If we are the world's 4th largest economy,
No, listen,
we are the
Shama-
world's 4th largest economy.
Shama will
Why are you
speak. Shama,
ranking?
have Shama on
Why are you
screen.
ranking?
Shama on screen now. Yes, Shama, go ahead.
Yeah. So what suppose today, if our tariff was around 20%, what would be the debate on? Whoa, foreign policy success. We have done it. We have got it. Modi has done it. Today, because we have the highest tariff, we shift the goalpost to Atmanirbhar. I want to know today why we couldn't negotiate, do bilateral agreements like Indonesia did, like Pakistan did, like Bangladesh did, like all the other South Asian as well as Southeast Asian nations did. India has the highest tariff. Why did Trump punish us? That there is no answer. The other thing, when we've got discounted oil, for example, she said we got it from Russia, I agree, and we did not budge, and that's a very good thing, we did not budge. But $65 to $70 a barrel is the price of international oil. If we've got a discounted prices, I want to know today, why am I paying 100 rupees for petrol and 98 for diesel? Why wasn't that passed on to the citizens? No. So today, what I have to say is that we have a failed foreign policy. Jai Shankar has been punished. Everybody, including Modi, who went to campaign in America for Mr. Trump, has been punished. And there is no face saver today, because we will see a lot of job losses in India. We will see it in the shrimp sector. We will see it in the garment sector. We will see it in the jewelry sector. And we don't know what's going to happen in future, whether these tariffs will go into the pharmaceutical industry, which is our biggest, it's a 12% of our GDP. Whether it will go on to it, we don't know, because whether we'll have further punishment. I want to know, when even now, when the 50% tariff was happening, why couldn't we negotiate? Why didn't we do it?
Sanju Verma, let me give you the last word.
Listen, so
the question really is that are we prepared as a nation to deal with this kind of a fallout? Because the fallout will be felt across sectors. The ripples will be felt across sectors.
You know, Marya, I have a small request. I'm no one to teach you your job, but I need to be now alone on the screen like she was. Thank you so much for extending that courtesy to me. I will end by saying this. You never put a gun to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's head and tell him do this or do that. And let me tell the Congress party, which keeps talking about foreign policy failures of Modi government. When did foreign policy fail? When Indira Gandhi gave away 93,000 prisoners of war after signing the Shimla agreement, but could not get back 54 Indian prisoners of war who were left to languish in Pakistan.
Sanju, you are an economist yourself. Let's answer the question that is there on everybody's minds.
Okay. Okay, Marya, please let me finish, Marya. My limited point is this, Marya. Today, India is the only economy, mind you, the only economy in the world which is growing at 6.5% plus. And inflation came in 10 days back, our inflation is 1.55%. And guess what? For the first time, something happened after 18 long years, which the Congress does not celebrate. इसलिए मैं इन लोगों को देशद्रोही बुलाती हूँ. Do you know something? Standard and Poor's, the rating giant, increased India's, improved India's, upgraded India's sovereign rating to BBB from BBB minus after a gap of 18 years. Tell me one thing, Marya. 2022, our GDP growth was 9.7%. 23, it was 7.6%. 2024, it was 9.2%. 2025, 6.5%.
A number of unanswered questions, certainly. This debate will be continuing over the next few days and perhaps months as well. Dr. Shama Mohammed, Sanju Verma, really appreciate your time on the Newstrack tonight. And joining me now is Peter Cardillo, Chief Market Economist, Spartan Capital Securities. We also have William Boiter, Economic Advisor and former Global Chief Economist at Citigroup. Mr. Boiter, starting with you, from a global economic standpoint, how significant is the risk that US tariffs pose to India's export-driven growth?
Well, it clearly is a material risk. 50% tariffs on just under, I think, 50 billion worth of Indian good exports are really going to damage the affected sectors. Admittedly, not all exports, goods exports, are affected by the latest 25% increase. And in addition, of course, Indian services exports to the US are not affected either. But the labor-intensive export sectors for goods are definitely in trouble. They have to find alternative destinations for these products, which are no longer competitive with the 50% tariff imposed on them.
Okay, Mr. Cardillo, would you say that India should wait and watch, as India has done so far? or what will be your advice to the, the strategists here in India, because they are of course calculating the short-term and the long-term consequences of this move. There is this sense that perhaps these tariffs could also escalate given the global tensions. What would you be telling Indian, policymakers right now?
Well, let's say up until now, India, I think, has drawn a red line in terms of autonomy and on oil purchases. Of course, this is not likely to carry on for much longer because Trump has certainly imposed tough tariffs on India, and that means that if the longer it takes for the Indian government to reach an agreement with Trump, jobs are at risk and the economy is at risk. So I think, the fact that Trump is playing hardball and the fact that the Prime Minister of India is also playing hardball, that will probably lead to some sort of a agreement. I don't think that India can hold out too much longer without having negative effects on the economy, and of course the loss of jobs, which is, a real pearl in terms of the Indian economy.
The government of India's response in countering this global protectionism certainly is what the Prime Minister says. He says that it is about make in India, make for the world. So it's about self-reliance that he is now emphasizing on. Peter?
Well, is that directed to me?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah. There's no doubt that, we had an about face here. At the beginning, we saw Prime Minister Modi and Trump, they were like great friends. And then all of a sudden, there was a turn in action. And that's because of the fact that India has held out. So to a certain degree, I think we have to applaud the Prime Minister of India for trying to, keep its autonomy and basically telling the United States we can trade with whom we want. The question is, will he be able to make trade deals with China or with Russia regarding oil?
Products that come into effect from 9:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time on the 27th of August. India is the largest export. US is India's largest export market. It accounts for nearly a fifth of all our outbound shipments. A 50% tariff could make some of these Indian goods less competitive. But pharmaceuticals, electronics, refined fuel, fuel that's refined for the European markets and the US markets, at least for now, they're exempt. But leather, textile, fisheries, these are some of the sectors that will take a big hit. There's a threat